All right, welcome back to the Sunday Morning News. We're joined now by Andrea Baxter from the Smart Cookies. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
Saving money, always a good idea, but
Yes.
it's difficult for people in their 20s and 30s to get a firm grasp on where their financial future is headed.
Well, my generation, Gen Y, very different than the baby boomers because the whole generation squeeze is happening a bit more. Baby boomers are a little bit more prepared for retirement because they got a much earlier start in life. And now they're reaping the rewards, whereas our generation is feeling a little bit more of a squeeze. You know, more women are in the workforce, so they're squeezing more time for home with their kids. Childcare is a big expense, and the cost of living is a lot more than when our folks
just
were
keeps going up.
Yeah.
Give us an idea of what Generation Y, what can they do to start getting ahead?
Well, the biggest mistake that we were really guilty of this before we did the Smart Cookies, is figuring out and planning, like mapping out a spending plan. Honestly, we just don't do it. We don't figure out exactly what we're bringing in and earning and what's going out, and we always overspend. So it's the easiest thing you can do to really figure out where your money is going and figure out where you can trim the fat from your budget. And it's really like a good roadmap, a blueprint to your financial
There's a couple of good websites out there that can help you do that, like mint.com, I know.
Yeah, we love
really
mint.com. Mint.com's great because everything's online. They've got apps on their iPhone. It tracks your spending. You can set certain limits if you have, you know, if you only want to spend $300 on groceries or gas, and it's just a great tool that we love, and it's easy. And our generation, we're used to all this technical, you know, stuff online, so it's fun too.
Easy in practice, difficult in execution.
Yes.
Often.
Yeah. So the second one is really just like, and this is what we were talking about with Katie. A lot of us are becoming parents now. Figuring out in terms of best childcare options for Gen Y. Like I said, a lot of people are getting crunched for time at home with their kids, but they're also spending a lot more on childcare. Nanny sharing programs are really great to look into. Definitely tap into your friends who also have kids and find out what options are available to you.
I was blown away by how much childcare costs.
I know, it's crazy.
You have no idea until you have a baby, and then you're like, whoa.
And this is even before they go to grade school.
Yeah.
So, you know, knowing that you have 18 plus years of that to deal with in terms of costs, the earlier you can do it, the more savings you can trim off of your budget earlier on, the better. So definitely research and find out what's available to you.
Just getting ahead, though, seems to be the hardest part of trying to get a handle of your financial picture. And if you work in a family that has dual incomes, can you make that decision to put one check aside?
You can if it's possible. Again, Katie, another cookie, her and her husband do this. They were able to basically use one paycheck to pay all the household expenses and bank her paycheck. And what they do, you have to be really smart about it. At the end of the year, they have a common goal. What do we want to do with all this money that we've saved? They max out what they can contribute towards their mortgage every year. So they're dumping chunks of money onto their mortgage because that's a big goal of theirs, is to pay that down as fast as possible. Or if you have any debts, you can start putting it up, paying off debts. RESPs is another great thing with young kids. I know you have a young child at home. Start contributing to stuff like that. The earlier, the better. And if you reasonably can put even if it's part of a second income away, then definitely do it because it's a smart habit to get into.
You can be like me and check's gone
you
before the check's gone before it even hits the bank. Property mortgages, it's always the biggest expense here in Vancouver. Yeah. And if you can find a way to pay less mortgage, that's a key way to helping you get ahead.
Yeah, a lot of people are doing this now. They're becoming landlords, and it's not for everybody. I'm going to say, like, as a single woman, I don't typically want to become a landlord, but if you can, it is one way to pay down your mortgage quicker.
Sure.
You know, you can rent a basement suite out for $1,200 a month. That's $1,200 towards your mortgage that you don't have to pay. Or even getting a student living in your house if you do live in a house. I had a friend in high school whose parents did this all the time, and it was just added income. And it was not a lot of effort on their behalf. You know, they provided meals. But when you compare the cost of what they're paying to live there as an exchange student, it's money in your pocket, and it's money you can pay down faster.
I don't know if you've seen this. There's a website called Airbnb, and you can rent out rooms in your house
Yes.
nightly. And my sister-in-law does it in Hong Kong, and they make really good money doing it.
It's a great site, and a lot of people will do it if they're out of town on an extended holiday. They're paying, you know, off their mortgage for that month while they're away, rather than paying for it for themselves, but not living there. So.
And then always when we're talking finances, the future, the
Yes.
future, the future. And it seems
Yeah.
like such a way down the road, but it's closer than you think.
Well, and we are like when I first had my first RESP or RSP contribution at like 23, I thought I'm too young, but really tap into your resources, especially if you have a job, and find out what your employer has in terms of matching programs for RRSPs. Some of them will now they'll allow you to take your RRSP contribution off your paycheck before it's taxed on, or they'll match it dollar for dollar or a certain percentage. So put your thinking cap on, find out what your options are, because if you can take advantage of them, then all the better, for sure.
You keep beating it into people, and
Keep
someone
doing
will
it.
listen.
I know.
Absolutely. Andrea Baxter, thank you for joining us
Thank
today on
you.
the Sunday morning.